actual toxic masculinity would be harming the most vulnerable among you. It can't be toxic if you're protecting what you've actually been designed to protect. Can't say design. I did. You want men to get mad. You don't want a society where men don't get mad. What do you want? You want a society where men whine? Where men backstab? Where they protect themselves like we see in Chippewa Falls or Nashville with that mayor? To call him a wet noodle would be a gross affront to noodles that are wet? I prefer that. Depends. I don't know. Sometimes, if it's too wet, sometimes people, they don't do it al dente.
Al dente.
Like it's mushy.
I forgot Josh was in the Royal Guard.
I'm on duty.
There you go. He's on duty. He's protecting us because we trust him with violence. But we just create these categories now, and this is what we've lost sight. Violence bad, peace good. No. Peace can be evil, and violence can be righteous. Money bad, poverty good. No. I've met poor people who are completely entitled, ungrateful pricks, and I've met rich people I know. Also vice versa.
Hey, dirty.
Man bad, woman good. No! I've met plenty of bad women and plenty of good men. I've met plenty of bad men and plenty of good women. Let's get rid of black good, white bad. Be careful with that one. Black good, white bad.
What's that?
Trans good, cis bad. No. Your actions define you.
What is that?
And the way our actions have shifted in this country are defining us in a way that I think we're all concerned about. For the first time, genuinely, and you can come, I said this before, but for the first time in my lifetime, I worry. I worry when I see these stories. I worry that we may be on the wrong side of history on a lot. We may be on the wrong side of history as it relates to sex changes and hormones being pumped into kids. We may be on the wrong side of history where you have organizations that we know are corrupt, are mocking our elections as being
You bring it up on my other phone.
No leg to stand. It's hard for me to argue with them. We're on the wrong side of history in forcing people to take experimental medication. We're on the wrong side of history in trying to turn our military from an effective fighting force of violence.
Didn't see anything. Damn, the wind's blowing hard. The wind is gusting.
Begun to really see Dollar General as like a criminal organization.
You're stealing from my community, and I think they're very aware of it.
It's a classic bait and switch.
Somebody at the top is making a lot of money.
Go for a drive in any American county, and you'll likely soon pass by the yellow and black lettering of a Dollar General. Drive a little further, and another will appear. Then another, then another.
Here's their Dollar General store. It's 7 miles from the last Dollar General store we were at.
With nearly 20,000 Dollar General stores in 48 states, the Tennessee-based discount chain has sunk its teeth into lower-income, rural, and suburban areas everywhere.
It's easy to look at the dollar stores and think they are a sign of economic distress or a symptom of economic distress, but what we found is that they're in fact a cause of it.
Underneath Dollar General's so-called low everyday prices in convenient locations lies a sinister business model and a massive scandal that hardly anybody knows about.
The fact that we have to sue a company to get them to tell the truth is absurd in my mind to begin with.
My name is Lori Hartline. I am a Dollar General shopper out of convenience in my neighborhood. What you see here is when you travel, you'll go from looking for a grocery store, and before you get one, you have $3 General options. That's all you have.
In May of 2022, Lori Hartline started noticing some seemingly harmless discrepancies while shopping at her local Dollar General.
Gotcha.
When they opened up in, I think it was 2021, their price of
It's
my
only 8
kitty
minutes, so
litter
I'll play
was
it, and then
$8.95.
then I'm gonna switch back to Crowder.
I purchased it all the time. I didn't pay attention. I go up there, I check out, I leave. Well, one day, wait a minute, $10? I noticed it. I asked him about it. Oh no, they've raised the price. Well, that doesn't say it on the shelf. Well, they just have to change it. It's in the computer. It's not on the shelf. Next week, go in and buy cat litter. Same thing. That is not what the price says on the shelf. What am I doing wrong here?
It's a big time thing in Michigan. When that happens, they got to pay you 10 times the difference.
Dollar General in the state of Ohio was being sued for deceptive pricing. That is what happens to me. I knew I wasn't crazy. I know it's just not me.
After months of repeatedly being overcharged by Dollar General,
Yeah, when I worked at
Lori
Kroger,
Hartline
man,
to the
we'one
Oklahoma Attorney General.
we'd get nailed
And
every
within
a couple
2
times
days,
a
I got a
day.
response
I mean, it's
that
just
they
there's so many
were
products too,
Um,
but
great.
that's why they actually
They
have somebody that
responded
is
to
their
that.
job. Their only job is to make sure the prices are right.
They apologized and they said, we'll have a gift card for you. I said, okay, well, let me just ask, how much is it for? $10. Tell her to keep it. I don't want it. It was insulting.
Lori's story was brought to attorney Mark Dan, where it became the basis for one of 3 class action lawsuits in Oklahoma, New York, and New Jersey.
I don't think there's any question that Dollar General is doing this intentionally and systematically.
June 22nd, I was overcharged 4 items out of 11. $7.95 was advertised $6.50.
If you tell me one thing and then charge me something else, in almost every jurisdiction in America, that would be theft by deception. Corporations, as we know,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The U.S. Supreme Court are people, and people need to follow the law.
Dollar General's deceptive business practices run deeper than most realize, according to Stacy Mitchell, a researcher at the Institute for Local Self-Reliance.
I think what they're looking for is places that have been that lack, economic and political power, places that they can push around. They're often building in such numbers that it becomes impossible for a new grocery store or other locally owned businesses to develop in a neighborhood that needs them. They kind of lock in poverty as they grow because poverty is the thing that really fuels these companies' bottom lines.
So we have the poorest people in the country going to a store that's deceiving them about the price that they're charging for goods in a situation where they have very few other realistic choices. I think it's about as exploitive a business plan as I've ever seen. Almost every county in America and every state has a system for making sure that people who run cash registers do so honestly.
Price verification is when we see that a product is listed for $2.99, take it up to the register, scan it, make sure it's ringing up as $2.99. We do a random sample of products that we pull. We're used to seeing 1 or 2 failures, getting it corrected, and feeling confident. Unfortunately, in Dollar General's case, it was large and continuous. The scale or the concern was over 80% of the stores that we checked were failing, and were failing competitively, and really no acknowledgement or desire to correct that failure.
Despite being cited repeatedly, Dollar General neglected to correct the problem, prompting the Ohio Attorney General to file litigation against the store.
One unique component in our conversation was the recognition of how Dollar General staffs or short staff were receiving no guidance, and were just kind of keeping the place open as best they could, not really necessarily aware of the price verification challenge, for duty and responsibility under Ohio law, and then opportunities to correct it.
If you have designed a business where you are deliberately understaffing your stores, you're deliberately cutting costs, you're going to end up having these kinds of, widespread mistakes in pricing. I mean, that's just the reality of we're not actually providing enough labor to comply with the law and make sure that people are getting charged what the price actually is. They have decided that they can make more profit by violating all of these laws, by understaffing, by cutting corners. And right now, the fines that are associated with doing that are simply a cost of doing business. They are too low to make a difference and to stop this organization from behaving this way.
Dollar General has been fined over $20 million by states and the federal government since 2017. But those fines, which pale in comparison to the amount Dollar General has siphoned from communities, have done little to change the company's behavior.
There are 19,000 stores. There are literally millions.
I'll be right back. Here, listen to him.
Millions of items sold a day in Dollar General stores. And even if 10% of the time they're stealing 10 cents on 10% of the items that are sold, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars going into the pockets of Dollar General shareholders and out of the pockets of the poorest people in America.
If you're a systematic violator of laws as a company, what's the deeper way that we can go after you? At some point, you've got to be shut down if you can't reform your behavior, because clearly this one-off approach that we're using is not working.
And I think that it's time for Dollar General to pay the price civilly, to pay the customers for what they've stolen from them, to change their business practices for how they go forward in the future. And I don't think it's far-fetched at all to think that the corporate executives who hatched this scheme ought to be prosecuted.
They can build this little metal building in a week, maybe 2 max, and everybody's getting ripped off every day. It's only a quarter here. It's a dime here. It's 35 cents here. Who has the time to go and write a letter and complain over a quarter? Well, I do.
Thanks for watching. We hope you liked this video. To see more stories like this one, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more Perfect Union. And if there's a story you think we should investigate, let us know in the comments below.
All right, back to what we were watching. That's nuts, though. So I get to talk to my boss now. She's about to call me. Shit's flying.
Whoever, it don't matter if you're getting sex trafficking, motherfucker. It don't matter if this. I'm just saying, it's allegedly trafficking sex. He's sexually harassing people. He's all up in there selling sex slaves and shit. It's like, did you just say that? I did. I said the motherfucker selling sex slaves. So I think you've made it clear.
I love how casually it was. All lies will be exposed. That's all I'm saying. I'm like, well, that's a lot. He's like, all lies will be exposed in 2024. That's a busy year.
He kind of just threw spaghetti at the wall.
A little bit.
He was throwing a lot of spaghetti there. I mean, there's a lot of things that you're like, I don't know if I believe. Like, he started the interview by going, I've never had a drink of alcohol in my life.
Yeah.
Here's some whiskey I'm drinking. I can drink with the best of them.
Yeah, exactly.
You ain't gonna outdrink me. I never have.
Yeah. You ain't never seen motherfucking cat. You ain't never seen me on a drug. You ain't never seen my ass in jail. You ain't never seen me get choked the fuck out by a 13-year-old motherfucker.
You ain't never seen me have the mic. Yeah, we saw all that stuff, dude.
I wrote the damn script, then they stole it from my ass, said it was their own. What?
Did you hear about his 40 time?
And I run a 4.240.
We have
He
the
actually said that too. We have that clip. Yeah.
100 years old right now, but if we go outside right now, I can run a 4.340 or sub. I can do a 4.16.
Dude, Jimmy Jones talking about subs.
I could do a faux ones.
A 4.340 just for context, that's very fast.
That's lightning fast.
That's
That's like sign you to a contract now. We'll figure out how to make it work.
Yes.
I think the fastest ever is a 4.
I thought a 4.21 was
something?
run.
Yeah.
This year's combine.
This year was
4.22, 4.21. I can't remember
So
exactly.
the fastest runner ever is just neck and neck with Cat
With
Yes.
Money Mike.
at his age.
at his age.
But we do have video of him actually running, I believe.
Yes. Here we go.
That's not a 4.340.
That's at least 6 seconds.
No, I think. Do we have the number?
I don't know if it shows the number.
They gave a number. I've seen this clip. They gave a number and they were wrong because I timed it with another phone. I was watching with my phone and I hit bang when he goes and it's at least 6 seconds. And they're like, oh dang, it's like 4.9 or whatever. And it's not.
It's not.
By the way, there's a huge difference between 4.9 and 4.3.
45 at age 50, I'd have been like, oh, that's pretty good. But instead,
I still would
run a
believe it.
4.16. It's about the way Xavier, where they played for Texas Longhorns this last year, on a 4.21, and the entire world lit on fire because
Yes.
he ran a what?
So if Cat Williams ran a sub 240, it would become the fastest person at the 2024 NFL Combine.
In any combine ever in history.
Yes.
Since they
It would make him the fastest football player ever.
Yes.
And incapable of getting in position because he's 4'6".
Yes.
Yeah, well. But if you can get him the ball, he's hard to tackle.
Yeah, tell that to the 15-year-old kid that beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. So we had to show Knight clip as well.
Oh, do you have a
From the Spirit Soul something awards.
Oh, right. Back
Source Awards.
Back, it was a Source Awards.
Source is a magazine.
Smile when they
No,
see
I
my
knew
face
it.
up
I
in the
just knew
Source.
the name.
This is because there used to be the kind of the spat going back and forth between
East and
Biggie
West.
and back then I believe he was still Puff Daddy, and Tupac and Suge Knight, who also dangled Vanilla Ice out of the balcony, which is still
Well, that
hilarious.
makes
to
sense
this
to
day.
me.
Yeah, it does. And then Suge Knight was in prison. He immediately killed a guy. No, he ran the person over at like a roadside stand.
Something like that.
Yeah, Suge Knight just like
He
there's
hated
no,
hot dogs.
there's no
Really just
rehabilitation
collateral
of that
damage.
guy.
Murdered a guy.
And I don't like him. Don't get me wrong. But a part of you kind of has to respect just how committed he is. Like think of all that time he
Day
spent
one.
in prison, and he gets out. He's like, well, this is happening.
Yeah, some guys say I don't give a damn, and they don't mean it.
Yeah, Suge Knight does not give a
He means
He
it.
really doesn't care.
Yeah.
Complete disregard for his own safety,
You gotta respect a
well-being.
man of his word.
I mean, I kind of do. So here he is calling out P. Diddy, whatever. That was the AIDS.
That was a layered joke.
Oh no, he did it. He did it.
Here he is at the Source Awards.
Hey, Brandon. I saw you got a gifted membership on Long Island Audit. I was in there earlier.
the record.
That was aimed at Puffy.
And basically, people were reaching for their guns.
Yes.
I said, you don't have any clue how close to violence that came.
Yeah, it did. Well, a lot of them were just acting.
Yeah.
But not Suge Knight.
No, not Suge Knight. He meant it.
Yeah.
You could tell by how he stumbled over his words. He was angry.
Yeah, he was angry.
All
Probably
up
a
in
little
your
drunk.
record.
Yeah. And then he leans in, all up in your videos. And Puffy's like,
Oh, how dare you?
I looked good in that video.
How dare you?
Actually, I got tea today.
Well, Bad Boy Records. Turns out he was a bad boy.
Turns out he was a bad boy. Turns out he was a serial felon. I don't know. This is also a guy, remember he fired a gun at a club when he was with J-Lo. A lot of people forgot that. And that was obviously a PR stunt. It's just, I don't know. What do we do with this? Is there anywhere else to go? I hope he goes. If he did it, I hope he goes to jail.
I hope he goes to jail.
Repeatedly.
Yes.
Repeatedly.
And do we think that Cat Williams is right about a lot?
No.
It's hard to tell, man.
I mean, he could just be right about this one thing, or maybe alluding to it.
Broken clock is right.
But it seems, hold on, I think there's going to be another shoe to drop this stuff. Like, this is just the tip of the iceberg for it, because so many people I've heard claim, like, yeah, there were signs, or yeah, this and that. And maybe people are just Monday morning quarterbacking. I have no idea. But a lot of people are like, yeah, we knew. What? What do you mean you knew? If you knew, why didn't you tell somebody that you knew? Like, this would be good information.
That was Michael Jackson.
Big traffic.
I mean,
yeah.
I knew Michael Jackson touched kids before. Like, when they got the trial, when they started actually looking into the investigation, and people like put out a documentary, people started talking about it. I was like, yo, we talked about that like 15 years ago.
Michael Jackson was framed.
No touching.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I prefer the Sunny in Philadelphia movie.
Do not diddle kids, no good diddling kids.
I got in trouble one time. I was at CPAC and I was hosting, and GoProud was one of the reporters for the event, and I described someone as quote Anderson Cooper Day, and this was years before he came out of the closet.
That seems respectful, though.
And just like I didn't realize it was that big of a deal because everyone in the industry knew it.
Yeah.
But this is a good 5 years before he came out, so I think maybe people in the community, in the hip hop community, know that
Yeah.
P. Diddy is a sex trafficker.
Or at least, I don't know what they knew, man. This is going to get interesting. If you have any information, LWC tips, protonmail.com.
Yeah, we'll break. Yeah, were you on a private jet?
Yes. Chances are you've made some mistakes.
Have you?
Yeah.
Don't diddle diddle.
It does seem like there's I think it's power. I think
It's so hard to meet a woman
That's true. Yeah.
these days. You know?
So you
He's
just
so-
kidnap
he's
them
just
and
so-
keep them in the basement?
Yeah, I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Go out to a bar?
Yeah. I don't
Raise them?
I may interfere R. Kelly to a urinal.
By
By the way, I'm not one to defend R. Kelly, but
Please continue.
the peeing thing is weird.
It's totally weird.
I don't understand it. Just to be clear.
How do you walk up to a urinal and go, well, if this was a person,
Yes, exactly.
like, this would be a better experience.
Although it's kind of a society called trough. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. Women, you don't know what we have to deal with. But I don't understand how the peeing thing works because it's kind of difficult to pee if you're in an aroused state. So
Correct.
you have to deliberately get yourself unaroused to do the thing that turns you on more than anything. So that's weird.
Or you gotta do this.
Yes, exactly. No, it still doesn't. The valve is pinched. It's like pinching a hose.
You can, but
I think it's like a train track where it goes from one. You gotta pick.
I think there's something wrong with your valves.
I don't know.
gonna blow out an open.
Maybe I have loose valves. Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe I need a
I have
little
no
wrench in
idea.
there. Tighten them
Is
up.
there a doctor in the chat? But the girl who was 15, when you read it, the mom was throwing this girl at R. Kelly and said she was 20. And she looked 20. Now, is it weird? Sure. I don't like to be in the business of judging someone's personal sexual preferences because it can get really weird. But it really is none of my business if it's between two consenting adults. And there's an argument to be made, and I don't know if this is correct. But if R. Kelly thought he was engaging in weird sex acts consensually with a 20-year-old, that is very different from stories that the public has been told. And there does seem to be some evidence to that effect.
I don't know.
You've heard that?
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's very different. In other words,
definitely.
if it's a 20-year-old and she's like, yes, it's weird.
Very weird.
It's definitely weird, but you didn't do anything.
You didn't
illegal.
knowingly commit a crime, and you're not a pervert who's looking
Right.
to troll.
No, a little bit of a pervert, but
A
just
pervert, but you're not.
Oh,
You're,
definitely
you're
a
not a
sick
pedophile.
Not a pedophile. There you go.
Not a pedophile.
Well, but is peeing on somebody really pedophilic? I think so.
No, it's not.
I
A little bit, because
so.
you have to reveal your penis to them unless you're behind like a wall and you're arcing it.
How's that
My
pedophilic?
point is if he thought she was 20.
Oh no, I know. I was moving beyond that.
Oh, okay. All right. So, I don't know. How would that make it pedophilic? It all comes down to the age. It doesn't come down to the arc or the velocity.
How old is YouTube?
2006.
Just cut off. Just made the cutoff.
Yeah.
With a mug to pee on it and not be illegal.
Yes.
Man.
Now that is an of-age mug
Yes.
and an of-age YouTube.
Well,
sign.
now 18.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's just one of those things where you look at this industry and people talk about how, well, it's a real problem, a rape culture. It's only in your community, in the Hollywood community. Oh, it's a real problem. No, it's in your community is where this is rampant. I mean, possibly the Democrat Party, but sexual assault, rape culture. It's not happening. Sure, does it happen, but not to that same degree in middle America.
Like, my kids aren't being told by someone every day they're going to be made a huge star if they touch someone's things.
Right.
You know? That's not happening on a daily basis.
I mean,
but that is happening in Hollywood.
Yeah, it is. I mean, look at what happened at the dark side of children's TV is out there right now.
Oh yeah, Quiet on Set.
Quiet on Set.
Yeah, Drake Bell, where he was raped for months at least by this Brian Peck producer.
Yep.
And then guess what happened? The guy got out of jail and was right back working with kids.
Yes.
Brian Peck.
Could not believe that.
And that story too, for people who don't know, you know what that story is? You know who was removed from the equation? The dad.
Yep.
When the dad was taking care of him, the dad kept an eye on him. The dad said, "I don't want that Brian Peck guy around my kid."
To the mom.
And Brian Peck drove a wedge between Drake Bell and his dad and said, "No, your dad shouldn't be around. He's making people uncomfortable on set.
Yeah.
He's a killjoy."
Managing you.
And so they moved everything over to the mom who thought, "My son's in Hollywood. This is great." And the predators came through. Look, women don't know how to protect from predators in the same way that men do. That is a job of men. That is.
But even if they do, these perverted men think that they can get one over on them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once it already happened, once it happens to your kid, it happened.
Yeah.
Whether you were good enough to prevent it or not, whether you can kick their ass after, it doesn't
Right.
matter. Once it happens, it happens.
Well, you know what they said to Drake Bell's father? He talked about this, where he said, "I don't like the way," and there's a video, by the way, of Brian Peck. We could probably find it. Brian Peck, Leonardo DiCaprio, when he's young, and he's kind of rubbing his arms and his shoulder. And the dad of Drake Bell said, "I don't like the way that he's touching my son." He said, "No, my son can put on whatever, can put on his own glasses, costume, he doesn't need to be there." And they said, "Oh, you're no, he's gay. He's just touchy-feely. You're being homophobic.
Right.
You shouldn't bring it up again."
I would be homophobic with any man touching my son.
Yes.
I would be the biggest homophobe.
You
Sorry.
know what pissed me off the most about this? He warned his wife and said she was now managing everything, and he said, "Don't let him be around this guy. This guy is bad news." The mom let him sleep at this guy's house, take her son to all these auditions, and her reasoning was, "I don't like to drive."
Yeah.
It's an hour drive from where we live in Orange County, where these auditions are being held.
There were
You just-
times when
you
Drake
just
called
stayed
his
over at
mom.
his house, and that's where it happened.
Yeah, she lived in Orange County.
Yes.
She didn't want to drive in. And he
Why
was
not?
like, I don't think I need to stay at Brian's house tonight.
She's like, no,
yeah, I don't want to make the drive from Orange
I
County.
don't want to drive.
I'm begging you, Mom. Take me home.
Here's Brian Peck and Leonardo DiCaprio and the weirdness.
Yeah.
You see, we draw drawings of each other. Brian is the famous artist, so we always make fun of each other and portray each other in silly, satirical way.
Leo's job on the set for some reason to make fun of me. Leo, as you know, is the latest, hottest, hungriest people I know there is. Speaking of you,
See? Objectifying. Like this.
To be fair,
There's me.
that kid kind of looked like he was asking for it.
It kind, you know what?
He was touching on him
by
first.
that. Yeah, exactly. The grooming had already started from Brian.
He was peacocking.
Peck.
Yeah. I saw a video of him trying to get away from Dan Schneider.
Yeah,
on her
that was
18th
really
birthday
creepy.
on the set.
Yeah, I'd heard about that. In this thing, they don't say that Dan Schneider molested anybody, but Brian Peck did. Quite well, he was well known. And that guy, just how do you?
Oh,
How
shit.
do they allow you to work with children? You know this. When I lived in Michigan,
The
we
fuck?
had someone-
They claimed that he wasn't officially on the sex offender registry yet and didn't know. And Brian's answer,
they
hold
looked.
on, but Brian's answer to them, basically, this is from them, I believe, in the show, is that matter had been resolved.
Right.
That's all that you like. It was somewhat public what happened because there were letters of support written by very famous people that would piss you off that wrote letters of support for Brian Peck. During that trial. During the
James
sentencing
Marsden was
phase.
one of them.
Marsden was one. A bunch of other people that wrote in, and you were like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Like, how in the world could these people write in and take the side of the guy who was the sexual predator?
I've got one theory. They're all child molesters.
A good portion of them. Or at least child molester adjacent.
Yeah. Who knowingly hires a convicted child molester?
Yeah.
Besides another one.
Yeah. There's more to the story, too, that I think they don't necessarily cover. But I can't imagine being that dad. That dad, you could just tell, was absolutely devastated.
He was heartbroken.
He was stripped of his God-given right to protect his son.
Yeah.
And when he was able to do it, he did it. He did it. And then he couldn't. And he couldn't do it. You can see that dad will never, you can see it when you watch. It's heartbreaking, never forgive himself. And by the way, Drake Bell has gone on to, I don't know that he's raped anybody, but have sexual relationships with girls who are like 14, 15, and perpetuate that cycle, unfortunately. And you know, do I think the guy was damaged? I can't imagine the damage that is done. Because that's another thing that you think when we talk about grooming, they know that the person who you damage is very likely to damage somebody else.
Yeah.
They know that. It's like paying it forward with sick, twisted perversion. And that's why, if anything did happen with Diddy, you know, I hope it's the harshest punishment possible. I think we need a death penalty for pedophiles. I really do.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I wonder if Drake's mother took any responsibility for causing harm.
I don't know. She doesn't appear.
I hope it's too painful for her to possibly show her face on this. And I'm not saying that she, you know, like everybody, you make mistakes. I understand that. Maybe you didn't take your husband seriously. Maybe he was being a jerk to you at the time, and you're like, whatever. It's your son. Take it seriously until you find out you're not supposed to.
Right.
Doesn't seem like that happened.
Right.
I doubt she takes responsibility.
Kids need both a mom and a dad, right? That's no one. But the reason I want to talk about dads is because it's the only role that has been denigrated. Being a dad, right? They go, protect from what? Everything is so safe now. Well, sure, you're not protecting from marauding hordes, but now you have to protect them from perversions like pedophiles out there. They're working. This is the issue. You have to protect them online.
Coaches.
Yes. Yeah.
Employers
It's
in
your
this,
job.
in this case. The people that are closest to them at all times, you have a responsibility. But look out for this. Don't just leave your kids with somebody. Why? Because they were at the church.
Right.
Because they were at the
Doesn't matter.
school.
Right.
Doesn't matter how trusted and loved by others they are. You always keep an eye out, parents.
Also, and kids, and the truth is, when you do this, and you have a system that does this, it's really easy for a kid to be, Drake obviously thought, oh, my dad's being overbearing, and hey, mom's gonna let me do what I want. And you can see now that he's grown up. He's like, I was wrong, and he's rekindled his relationship with his dad. That's the issue too. When you're young, you don't know any better. You think the parent who lets me get away with all the stuff I want to do, you don't know what's good for you. And we're now allowing these children, imagine this, the children who thought, hey, it's better for me to go sleep at Brian Peck. He didn't know any better. We're now allowing kids who are 10 years younger than Drake Bell was to take puberty blockers, to get sex changes. And all you need is a household that's broken and a dad who says no, and the mom who says, do you think that you're, and statistically, it's almost always the mom. Now, not you watching, but statistically, it's only typically white, suburban, or urban women who put their children through transition. That's a reality. That is a verifiable fact. You have a dad saying, no, you're not going on puberty blockers. And mom saying, do you want to go on puberty blockers? Let's do it. Guess what? The kid now hates dad.
Well, dad's already the guy that puts the rules. He puts the rules in place. He's already the big scary dad. Oh, no, dad's going to be upset about this. Dad's going to be upset about that. Oh, and your dad doesn't really this, but you know him. He's a big scary man.
Yeah, he's a big scary man.
He's a big scary man who's always yelling at people, or always being suspicious. There's nothing to be suspicious about.
Yeah. The world's not a scary place. The world's not a dangerous place. People are generally nice. It's the difference between conservatism and liberalism. Dennis Prager talks about this. Do you believe that human beings are inherently good? Or do you believe that human beings are inherently bad? Let's switch bad with selfish. The answer is obviously selfish. Human beings are not inherently good. We're not. We may do some good things, but we are inherently very self-focused. And men look at the world through that prism of where's the danger, where's the threat. And women often don't. Women often don't. And the Drake Bell situation, it's a very tough series to watch, but you watch it and your heart just breaks from it. Really breaks for the dad because he should have never been stripped of his power as a dad to protect his son.
And that was Brian Peck.
Yep.
Pushing a wedge and mom not stepping in.
Yeah.
for whatever reason, we don't have a lot of information on the mom, but it does not look good. You know what information we do have on a mom? Of the person Brian Peck was dating at this all happened, the mom was the one that said, "Hey, what's going on? What's wrong?"
The person that Drake Bell was dating.
Drake Bell, right?
Yeah, he was dating someone, and her mom said, "No 40-year-old man calls my daughter's boyfriend nonstop on a weekend like that."
Doesn't have what's going on, and like cornered him in a kitchen basically in a loving way, got him alone, and said, "Look, what's going on?" So yeah, thank God that mom.
Hey, yeah, shout out to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the lesson of this is let your kids be fat because no one was messing with Josh.
Not that we know of.
Not that we know.
We don't know. That he could have, when he lost that weight, could have been an eating disorder. We don't know.
He looks great now. I don't know if you've seen Josh now, but
yeah, he does. Well, I wonder. It's kind of like the Meryl Streep effect with Weinstein, where you're like, just come out and say you did it, Meryl. Just say I've got 19 Academy Awards and I referred to Weinstein as God. Yeah, I slept with him, and hold up the awards. But everyone's like, oh, I can't believe it. And you feel like that's obviously something very common with children abused who, if they make it, there would be no way of knowing. Someone like Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm not at all alleging this, but someone like him would never come forward with that.
No, but it's entirely likely that Brian Peck did not limit his.
Of course.
it's easier for Drake to come out because, and I'm not talking smack here, but it's easier for him to come out. He didn't have as successful as a career, right? As someone like Leonardo DiCaprio or like you said, Meryl Streep or something.
Yeah, exactly. So he's not at this point. He can tell the truth. He's not risking it, and that's where, of course, you get people saying, "Oh, it's sour grapes."
That's what they do. That's what they do immediately. Well, he's lying. It's gotta be a lie.
Right. It's sad. It really is sad. Like it's just that as a society, this even takes place whatsoever. There's so many breakdowns there. First off, that a Brian Peck was even allowed to be around children, like he didn't see any warning signs. Second, that a concerned father was stepped down because they used the phobia of the day, you must be homophobic. Then that we had a system in place where a father was stripped of his fundamental right to protect his child. And then that we had a system that allowed Brian Peck to go out and work with children again. How do all of those mistakes happen? And it goes back to the manifestos. You go, oh, people just don't, at every single one of these moments, there could have been someone to step up and say, hey, this is wrong. And so often people don't. It's that simple of a difference. Just stepping up and saying, no, this is wrong. We shouldn't go along with this. So many people don't. You would be amazed. And once you're the first person to do it, more people say, yeah, I was thinking this wasn't quite kosher. Which, of course, that food is banned in Canada. Club seats. Let's grab some chats.
Okay. All right, here's the first chat from DJ Diddle.
Of course.
That almost seems...
Hey. Did Diddy do it, or didn't Diddy do it? Nobody knows what Diddy did or what Diddy didn't do. Do I Diddy do?
Dr. Diddle Seuss. Well played.
I liked it.
And I don't know if that was about P. Diddy, DJ Diddle. I don't know. Maybe he knew something we didn't.
I think he took the name that I created. In fact, that seems like he stole.
He's been around for a while, DJ Diddle.
Yeah, he did it before I did.
I forgot about DJ Diddle.
It's true. Sour grapes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really don't care. Take it, run with it. Fine.
On CNN, there was a guy from Make-A-Wish. All right, let's continue.
Here's a new one. Mr. Sleepy. Regarding the Baltimore Bridge collapse and other disasters in the last 5 to 7 years, Interstate Bridge explosion in Atlanta, all of the farm food processing plant explosions, why are they treated as nothing to see here as perfectly normal and to be expected?
Well, I can't answer because those are so many different incidents that may not be the same answer, and it certainly doesn't mean that they're all connected.
And I don't think it's the nothing to see here. I think this is obviously not treated as nothing to see here with the bridge. The collapse, there was a Minneapolis bridge collapse as well that happened years ago. I think those are, they make big news, obviously, when it happens. And then the food processing plants, the fires and stuff like that, like if there was evidence that something like this was happening in conjunction like with other events that were happening, then fine, but I haven't seen any of that other than it is odd that they had so many of them catch fire, have issues. I get that. Like, it does seem odd to me as well, but I can't just go, oh, it must be a concerted attack on our food supply. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But I don't know if those things are just like nothing to see here events. I think it's just things happen, and now we know about them much more quickly.
Yeah, I think that's probably correct.
Antifa.
Ooh, there's a new name. More decent asker.
What?
Uh-oh.
I don't think it's the same person.
Sounds like we have tryouts.
Do you think we're being groomed for a solar flare event? On the slow news day, it seems like I'm seeing more and more what would happen if articles popping up. Josh, thank you for your service and for wearing the hell out of that brown hood.
He's not wearing the brown hoodie right now, so joke's on you. mean, I think there's something to the fact that when it's a slow news day, people just kind of get into more speculation.
Yeah.
I don't know how that relates to preparing us for a solar flare. Are you just trying to say that people are fear mongering?
I don't think there's any capability of perpetrating a solar flare attack, but you can't make a solar flare.
Well, then what were they saying then?
I don't know if they're saying that the government is basically preparing us for an event like a solar flare, which would potentially be devastating to everything electronic, our entire way of life.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was the thing, but look, that's a real.
I guess that means the government would trigger a solar flare because if they'd be planning for it, then they would have to have a time in a day.
I think preparing us kind of mentally as a society. I don't know. We need to go back to
solar maximum in 2025. It's kind of one of those things that's just a matter of time event. So maybe it's just.
And it could be, a matter of time, a million years.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about. Yeah.
We'll see. Son, don't be.
I guess I didn't understand the way the question.
It was weird.
It was worded a little weird.
I was like,
pretty.
That's not a thing, right?
Am I missing something?
That takes a lot of planning.
Sending a rocket to the sun.
That's pretty scary.
But then the rocket has to
Power just
interact with
lights
the sun
just
to
shut off on the
time to
whatever it was, a freighter or whatever.
Only your enemies on the Earth. So I mean, I don't think we have that.
Right into that bridge.
But then the moon landing is fake. I don't know.
I don't know anybody in the community that is from that area though. To hear what they're actually saying there
that I've heard too. I'm
about
very
it.
surprised by that. Some of the
Yeah, that whole bridge went down. It was like crazy. It didn't look like there was much traffic on it, but still there was people.
And honestly, it would make sense if you're in a space race to get to the moon and the Russians kicked your butt to put Sputnik up. You're like, all right, we're not going to lose the second one. We've got better cameras than they do. Right? Like, you do. I get it. I understand that, but I'm just like, I still don't think we did. I don't think we figured it out.
Someone get Kubrick on the phone.
We need a studio now.
Yeah, I don't know how. I've heard the conspiracies. And the weakest one, they're like, how does it flag? But there's no way.
Yeah, you would think if it was purposeful that they would have done it at a time when there was a lot of traffic,
There's no way they can pretty much everyone who goes into
But you never know, man.
Because no people actually go through the.
It seemed weird. The lights.
Because the only pictures of the Earth we have are from NASA, and they're
lights shut off in the ship.
Other than space.
But it was still under power. It was still driving forward.
I love it. I love their.
The one with the laser beam. That was the most hilarious.
Yeah, when they do it, they're proven wrong.
There was one guy who he built his own rocket.
And I thought ships generally bounce off of those stanchions. I thought they were built better than that.
So, sometimes death is funny.
Yes,
That's so funny.
in a rocket. Gerald.
No, there's multiple ways to blow up.
I don't know. I watched the documentary I think a couple of years before he died, and I texted you and Johnny about this guy's absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I heard. He said that because you can see the lights go off on it, but it's weird, just weird.
On the planet doesn't mean the Earth is flat.
His parachute.
It is round.
Yes, right back down.
Ah, now I know. I can die in peace.
And of course, I bet you all the.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because they wanted him dead because he was going to come back.
That's right. Because
He's on the way down. He's like, ah, shit. Is God real?
I mean, it's like Game of Thrones. It's like you go to the north and there's an ice wall and there's this utopia that we can't all be a part of. That's the theory. That's the best that you have. Is there's a giant ice wall that we can't get around?
There's a documentary in this guy.
That being the case, I'm surprised that some things like that don't happen more often.
And it was him, and he was like showing all the fan mail. He's like,
yeah.
How often does the power just cut off on those things?
He goes, you just picture me with a rocket up my ass. They did a good job with the cat, though. And I just was peeing myself laughing.
Now I'm sad he died.
I know.
We could use that guy for some
I
more.
mean, at least the guy tried to do it himself. He tried to do something.
I appreciate that, but he didn't have to.
It was like steam rockets. That's what he was doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was doing steam rockets like in his backyard.
Wow. To get to orbit?
I mean,
how high was he trying to get?
Well, he was just trying to get high enough to see the sea on the horizon.
In the documentary, like his.
I mean, you could take a flight though.
Yes, his test rocket.
Oh, for sure.
It was getting up like lower than a basic Cessna. Piston plane.
When you pressurize like a soda bottle, it's just like what if I had hundreds of soda bottles?
Yes,
I just pressurized all.
Well, that is kind of early rocket technology, but he's like, I'm the only one I can trust. I mean,
guy in that.
What happens when we get a direct hit from a solar storm?
I mean, that's what he's doing. We all know he's. I mean, I kind of have my doubts, but I mean, he kind of seems like
The Rocket Man, they call him.
he made his own parachute too.
So I don't know if someone brought it up. I know Johnny Boy saw. I said.
They're saying a minor one is what caused that blackout in.
Get up my ass. I did a good job at the cat.
There's a
Noodle tried looking it up just now, but all he Googled was
Early
picture of a
2000s.
rocket in my ass.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
That's an old search.
Now you're on a
Check that on AI.
Yeah, all the links are purple. It's very strange.
Yeah.
Well, let's have someone out there find it. There is the
I didn't
documentary
know
on this
that.
rocket guy. If you search, you'll find his name. Steam Rocket Man dies, and then once you find his name, cross-reference it with documentary. You'll find that, and it's in the first third of that film. He's going through his house, and he's showing like his hate mail and some of his plans.
He kept it.
And he kept the hate mail.
Like, yeah.
Like, why would you keep a picture of you with a rocket up your ass? Just to get mad every day and look at it? I'm like, yeah, you'll prove them wrong.
I throw my hate mail from the Plano Utilities Company. Right? That's in the trash.
All right, let's grab another chat. We will find that at some point.
Yes. So I don't know how to say this name. So let's say a code steroid. Okay. Question for Crowder and crew: can we just have veterans and retired police act as school bodyguards to ward off shooters that will try to harm the next generation?
No, we can't.
I don't
You know
remember
why?
that.
Because it's too good of an idea. Well, who's going to pay them, too? Like, a lot of these people, they're not just, like, sitting at home doing nothing in their underwear, thinking about PTSD.
I'd pay more in property taxes if it meant that
Take some of the superintendents.
Well, they're not going to do that. I agree. But the likeliness of them doing that vote, it's like getting senators to vote on term limits.
Well, how about this? I got another.
They're going to vote against themselves.
Bring up a good point. How about this? I'm pretty sure in most schools you'll find at least one person who has a concealed carry permit at some point, who are statistically less likely to break the law than even police officers themselves. Can't remember.
Yeah, it's just I don't think we've ever done that other than coming back from conflicts or anything like that. I don't.
The guy. In fact, they actually.
I don't remember that ever happening. Really.
At the Nashville shooting.
Midwest, how's it going?
The guy who was supposed to be kind of the designated person with a firearm, he left it in his car that day, ran out to get it during the shooting, couldn't get back in because he left his keys. It was just a series of unfortunate errors and mistakes on the absolute wrong day to make them. But imagine if he had his firearm.
Any prospects for a load?
He would get it very quickly, be able to stop the threat. You know how many lives would be saved by that? They're like, oh no, you're just introducing more guns. Then nobody, if they're safer than police officers, nobody can have a gun at school, ever except the bad guys. And then we just keep having what happens.
Schools at SROs also resource officers. That's a good thing. It's a good thing to have on campuses. There's always going to be fights. There's always going to be things.
Yeah.
There's situations where teachers and kids are I think ultimately the best
Hurt toast? I don't know.
Because the kids can make a plan around that. The best idea is like, sentry guns. Always.
Yes, which is.
I don't think I've ever heard of that as a symptom of anything.
You just do it one time, sentry gun, put them there.
The Hunger Games games.
I'm trying to make sure it can't be hacked.
You know what? I think it better than we have.
Yeah.
Damn it. All right.
We had a cop at our school that was dealing drugs to kids.
Oh, nice. What a cool cop. Really?
Johnny Boy knows exactly what we're talking about.
I missed what you said before.
Obviously.
He was there. He was like, we found out later he was selling drugs to kids.
My favorite was just like a oregano.
We also had a 21 Jump Street situation. We had like an undercover cop who like went through a whole senior year, 20. Yeah, it's happened. This happened. It's Centennial Regional High School. Yeah, and I was like, there was a dry break bust.
Yeah, I had went to prom.
We didn't have no, we just had red. We didn't have homecoming. Everything took place in homecoming.
Now that I don't.
We didn't really, at our school, we didn't really have any school spirit. We didn't have any school teams that really mattered until intramural schools. Canada's an awful place. It's just terrible. It's an awful, awful place. There's no reason to just nuke Canada.
No, we don't need to.
Just steal the resources.
I just think we threaten them and take their stuff.
Yeah.
Just the threat. They'd be like,
you know, cut them a little bit.
well, there's so many people there that would take our side too.
Yes.
I think it would destroy the roads. The tracks would destroy the roads.
The fact that Canada is allowed to exist and tells us what a civilization is.
I don't think England would even.
And they transport them on flatbeds all the time.
That was not part of the United States.
It's strange that it's not part of the U.S. now. Why don't we do it tomorrow? They have 1/10 of our population in a country with a larger landmass, rich, vast in natural resources, and we do nothing.
I wonder how they'd feel. A lot of Canadians talk trash in America, and they talk trash about Americans. And I get my feelings, but we're better than them.
Yeah. I mean, why would you get mad at the little guy talking?
Yeah.
But do you think that if they voted on it, do you think that it would have a majority of people want to go?
No, that's why we don't ask.
No, that's why we take it by force.
Yeah.
Why are loved? Why are loved?
You know,
Not you are loved.
perhaps
Why
it's
are
not-
loved?
It's okay to have white slaves. Probably
That
have to have
plate
an
says,
exemption
"Why
for
are
Inuits,
loved?"
the Eskimos, because you can't
What
enslave
about
them.
Two-Spirited?
Send Quebec to France.
I gotta practice my stabbing.
Just chip it off like Yukon Cornelius, and take the rest of it. You probably would have more Quebecois would be surprisingly more conservative. A lot of people won't necessarily realize that.
Those Quebecers.
It was, their referendums were somewhat about taxation without representation, but we didn't have conservatives right. We had liberals and we had liberal separatists.
Separatists sound good.
The what?
The separatists sound good. They want to separate.
They want to separate, but they would run for national office.
Oh, in a bad way.
That's the crazy thing. They weren't only influential in the province of Quebec. They were influential on a national. But a country's government you don't even want to be a part of. It's a very silly place.
You're gonna blow it up from the inside.
You become prime minister with 30% of the vote.
And then you can just stay prime minister.
Yeah, you get to call it when you think you're most likely to win. That's when you get to call. There are certain parameters, but with the parliamentary system, it's like, oh, my polls are up right now. I'm calling the next election.
Right.
But the problem is Trudeau's screwed right now because there's no good time. His polls are always down.
Yes.
When is the next election? Do you know?
I don't know when the next election is.
They have a very confusing
system.
Government, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's when people say the two-party system, man. I go, okay, go to a parliamentary system, see how it works. It's silly. It's really dumb with their stupid Captain Hook judge robes.
And their wigs.
Yeah.
They still wear wigs up there, don't
They do. They still do that.
That's so dumb.
I know. I don't like it.
That's so dumb.
Did we find the Rocket Man thing? No.
Their Mounties have their belt in the wrong
I was
place.
really hoping we'd find him with a rocket up his ass, but... Did they find his name? Did they find his name? What was his... Mike Hughes. Mad
What a,
Mike Hughes.
what a, what a normal name.
What'd Mike do? No.
It sounds like somebody you went to school with.
Yeah.
Oh, remember Mike Hughes?
Yeah.
Remember in science class when he made those rockets? Yeah, he made a bigger one, died.
Jesus
Doesn't that
Christ.
junkyard house? Yes, he does, but he has a rocket in the backyard,
Oh, it did.
which we think is space-worthy. Again, look, and we'll talk about this tomorrow. Sometimes this just takes a lot out of us when we have the exclusive stuff going on. It's a dark subject matter, but we appreciate you going with us. So many issues. I mean, I've talked about this quite a few times, but like Tom Hanks, I remember one time I was pretty young. He was on MSNBC, I think it was Morning Joe, and he said we went into World War II because of jingoism and racism and fear, something like that. And they just moved on with the conversation. And I just remember going, no one on that panel is going to say, what? It's the same with this guy building a steam rocket in his backyard. It's like, you don't have a sink. No one just says, hold on, what? It's the same situation with like a Brian Peck. There's so many points where someone just needs to go, hold on, wait, what are you doing? Either A, this is a horrible idea, or B, no, we can't do this because it's morally reprehensible. You would be surprised. You would be surprised if you just stand up when you see that taking place and you point it out, how many other people were thinking the exact same thing, but have been lulled into a state of complacency. That's why, sure, are there Karens who ask to see the manager because they have a problem with, whatever they're getting at Olive Garden, which is take what you can get. Yep, I understand. But they want you to think that you are somehow meddling or you are somehow being demanding if you are simply requesting common decency and common sense. There's just not enough people out there going, there's not enough people saying, what? You're gonna build a rocket in your backyard?
There needs to be more people saying what?
Wait,
What? How?
Wait, the guy who raped a minor, he's back working with kids? No, we're not gonna do that. Wait, what? Wait, we're not gonna tell the parent that her daughter was named as the target of the shooter. No, we're gonna let them know. We're gonna tell them. And then other people in the room go, oh, okay, I guess maybe we're doing that now. Yeah, it's funny that we're a society that's bullied by cowardice, which I know you don't typically think. You don't think that you're going to actually be bullied by collective cowardice, but that is where we are right now. It's where you have dads stripped of their ability to protect their kids. It's where you have communities stripped of their ability to keep themselves safe. It's the breakdown of the family just because people are not standing up and saying, no, we're not going to do that. Do a little bit more of that. Let's start with that. See you tomorrow.
I'm sure there's a lot of depends on that. They're dirty. Probably how heavy, what type of, what's in the material, or what type of materials inside of the containers. I'm sure there are multiple factors. All right, guys, I got a ton of stuff I got to get to work on. We'll see about a desktop stream. Might happen, might not. We'll see. Talk to you later. Love you guys. Thanks for riding with me. Peace.